Sawadee Cup and welcome to another episode here for the Fungal Pod. And it's Media Prof Reacts to. And I mean, what else should I be reacting to than to the World Cup, obviously. And today, my team that I'm supposed to support, the German team, because I'm from Germany, the German team hasn't played just yet, so I'm not talking about the games anyways. Even though it's kind of nice to see Qatar lose. Sorry, yes, I'm one of those. And Argentina lose. Yes, also one of those. But not here to talk about the games per se, but more about like the media, how the media covers the World Cup and how the media is being used in regards to the World Cup. And that's why it's called Media Prof Reacts to, right? And I got the past few days, I tried to look at like different channels, how they cover the media, also different maybe culture / countries. So I speak German, obviously, English more or less. My Thai is all right, at least to understand and to have like basic conversations and so on. So I do watch Thai coverage a little bit. And I used to speak Spanish fluently, now probably not anymore, but at least it's good enough to understand the commentary and like read stuff. And I think maybe I try to pick up like the coverage and so on, right? Okay, so now the first things first, right? So when it's a game day, what I realized that the German side, the German channels, what they're doing is they're not necessarily focusing as much on the games as they used to. So what they're doing is that lots of time when the coverage starts, they talk about like the human rights issues of Qatar and so on. And maybe like 15 minutes or so before the game starts, they're like, okay, that's enough now, let's talk about the game. Which is kind of interesting, right? Then my colleagues who work for a Dutch company said it's similar in the Netherlands, for example. So I'll just trust their judgment right now. In England, like the English commentary or the English broadcasts that I've seen so far was very similar. It was like focusing on the problems in Qatar and like how the World Cup ended up there and so on. With then like a few minutes before the game started, they would then talk about the games themselves. If I compare it now to how in Thailand the coverage is being done, for example, I don't see anyone mentioning the issues with Qatar, like how the World Cup ended up there, and so they buy fully into like the Qatari way of presenting the World Cup, like how awesome it is. They just showcase like all those cool fireworks and pre-game rituals and whatnot. And the American coverage, and I've watched like a little bit of it, so correct me if I'm wrong, but from what I've seen, it was also like very positive. It's like, hey, it's World Cup time and Team USMNT is there and let's go. Woo. And I haven't seen any really critical coverage of what's happening in Qatar and so on, which I found very interesting. And now you can make of that what you will, and it's not a political podcast, but it does kind of show you where certain countries / stations are at, probably, I think. Now, what also like, and I have to use like some German anecdotes now because, well, Germany and the Netherlands, right? So they said they would play the games with like the rainbow-colored armband, like the captain armband that you wear, right? So they would say they would use like the One Love colored armband, like it says One Love on the armband, and then it's a rainbow color. And the FIFA said, no, you can't use it because it's a political message, and it's not allowed. And first, German team said, no, we're going to use it anyways, and the Netherlands too. And then FIFA was like, no, you really can't do it. And they said there would be sanctions, handed down to the teams. And so then the German team and the Dutch team said, okay, well, then we're not going to wear it. So, what the heck? And now the German team is now suing like FIFA, like so the German Football Association, the DFB, that's it. They're suing them right now, and so that's where it's at right now. It's kind of weird because it's a bit like, why are we trying to be like that virtuous right now, right? Shouldn't we have been that virtuous like 10 years ago or so? Or is it now all just for marketing or for like just to look good in the media. And that's where I'm at right now with my Media Prof React to, because cool, sue the FIFA and try to be like that bright light that shines a light into like whatever, the rainbow colored armband. That's also just a token, obviously, by the way. But what do we think about that is the question. And I think, well, that gesture is like lame, but I mean, if it shines a light on it, why not? Keep going for it. I hope that the Dutch Football Association supports the German Football Association in this case, and so on, right? Let's hope for that. Other than that, it's a bit virtuous. The media coverage, I do like, as much as you can, that the European broadcasters seem to try to put the finger into the wound of Qatar and saying like, hey, not everything is awesome, look at this, look at this, look at that, and so on, which they should have done like 12 years ago when Qatar got the World Cup. But I mean, better late than never, and they probably didn't, let's be honest, they didn't think about it back then. I mean, the outcry was huge, but then no one really bothered to like, I know, investigate further and so on. But at least now there is something that they're doing. I'm a bit disappointed by well, here in Thailand, but also by the American broadcasting, like, because there's no mention of that. At least I haven't seen any so far. Other than that, I also found it interesting and find it a very interesting stance that one of my colleagues told me. He said, well, so many people talking about like boycotting because it's like a winter World Cup. Usually it's in the summer where you sit like in the beer garden and so on. Like, you know, half the world, for them it's better right now. Like, not only for players in Qatar, but also for the rest of the world who like have a summer now and can chill now, and it's not a winter where they're at, right? Fair point, I guess. Even though I don't think it's like that drastic, but still okay. I mean, the timing doesn't really matter, to be honest. But the good thing about it might be that Qatar thought they can like smoothen everything over, right? They could be like, hey, we are awesome, look at our trailers, look at our stadiums and so on. And it's not working. So lots of things are coming out, like lots of the reporters, you've seen probably the Danish reporter and so on. Lots of things are coming to light because you can't just smoothen, astroturf all the problems that you have, right? It's just not working. Maybe it's a good thing that it's in Qatar right now, because then the media, as long as they do it, like the Danish media, the German media, the Dutch media, and so on, maybe they can actually say, hey, world, we're here right now, look at this. And without the World Cup, no one would have cared. Maybe now more people care. Now, having that said, we had similar issues back in the last World Cup in 2018 in Russia. Everyone was outraged. Everyone was like, oh my God, look at this, how they treat like LGBTQ, AI plus allies, people, and so on. Everyone was outraged for like a week. And then the first whistle blew and we all forgot about it, right? So I'm a bit afraid that this might happen again, but maybe we learned something over the past 4 years. Maybe the media moves faster. Maybe social media has a bigger impact now than back then. And maybe that's exactly what we need right now. So that's my little take in like the first few days of the Football World Cup 2022 on it. Let me know what you think. Obviously, I'm curious if you think that the media does a good job, the media is necessary. Do you think we all should just boycott it and the media should just go away and not cover anything? Or is it good to like put the finger in the wound, or just ignore it and just celebrate because there's so much, I know, bad things are happening in the world. Maybe it's just good to be distracted for a while. So let me know your thoughts. Shout out in the comments. Do it via social media at funkitpod. Email funkitpod@gmail.com. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Rate this podcast so we can reach a bigger audience and discuss all those things in even more detail. Until then, stay safe, take care, support the right team, and we'll talk soon. Saudi Cup.